I'm just gonna go over this real quick. This is probably gonna be a short stream. I was gonna do this earlier, and I got to where I just needed a break. Um, I don't wanna I don't wanna worry everybody, or I really don't know, but let's get the call to actions out of the way. One of them, if you've been following, you know what it is. Please ask your elected officials to legalize assisted suicide. People like me that are sick that don't seem to be getting better. Uh, People like my mom that died in hospice from cancer or whatever other debilitating disease. And again, I really don't know what she would have done. I really don't. I do know that when she was offered to take hospice and die or fight it with chemo, she chose hospice. But I don't really know if, my dad, I'm pretty sure I know what he would have taken because he talked about it a lot as he was getting sick. But the option should be there. It really should. And I had to watch her die. I was the one primarily taking care of her. She died of thirst. She died of, starvation. And I'm not faulting the hospice. I think they did the best they could, what was legally allowed, but it was bullshit. And I don't know. Yeah, but get that done. And then the other thing is, and this is going to be a little bit into the topic that we got here today. Uh, Write your officials. I don't think it'll do you any good to write them locally because they usually stomp on them. But write your officials in D.C., maybe the president, definitely your senator and House member, and let them know that the amendment that Chuck Schumer has needs to be passed without any amnesty or sweeteners for big business. If they broke the law, they should go to jail. If they broke the law, if they broke trade laws, then maybe that company needs to get torn apart. Should just can't give them a break, or it'll happen again. Maybe not on this, but something else. If they get away, we learned this from the Republicans. If they get away with it, sooner or later they'll find something else and be like, well, we didn't get in trouble. That happened with Nixon up to Iran Contra into the shit we got now. Every time they got away with it, and we just had a thing the other day. And this goes into the topic, the dumpster fire. You've got a guy, and this is what I'm getting at. If they get away with it, they'll do it again. You got a guy who's been pushing for Joe Biden to be impeached, our president. They want him impeached because he loaned a brother like $200,000, and they've actually got a copy of the check where his brother, unlike Trump, his brother actually paid him back. And they want to make a big deal of it. Well, the funny thing is, this Representative Comer, who's chairing the committee where they're going to do the impeachment. Oh, just so you know, I have got so many of these little bastards in here. The stream's a little wobbly for me. I got to do something. One of these days, I'm going to have a ghast in there when I come in here. Yeah, it's a little wobbly in here. And he's heading it. And one of the Democrats brought up that there's a story out there. He apparently loaned his brother the exact same amount, 200,000. They didn't go through a bank. He did the exact same thing Biden did, and the guy fucking lost his shit. He literally fucking lost it and started talking about LLCs and blah. It was like Trump-like nonsense, but he fucking lost it. Called the guy a Smurf. Well, fuck him. I like the Smurfs. You know, you can say what you want, but Smurfette was kind of cute, and Papa Smurf was wiser than any of them fucking idiots in Congress, Democrat or Republican. He was a very, very wise man. So nobody in fucking Washington should be shitting on the Smurfs. They just shouldn't. And this guy has been hanging out here for a while. Come with me, Mr. Bond. It's time for you to die. Yeah, this part of the stream was brought to you by the letter D as in dead fucking Gollum. Yeah, I'm going to call this a glitch because it wasn't doing this before, but I put the steps in because these things were literally getting stuck here and it was breaking the lead. But these guys sit here, okay, they come through once in a while, but this guy here, I can do whatever. I can come over here. Now, what should happen is this guy should drift over and break in, but yeah, he'll break off before he fucking comes in. I'm gonna call that a fucking glitch. That's something they should fix. And but he did. He lost his shit. Called that guy a smurf. I mean, he just and the guy's like, "Look, I'm gonna. You're not replaying your time." It was just going off, And they wanna sit there and go off on Democrats for imaginary shit. That's something he should be censured for. He's a fucking chairman of a committee and he's acting like a fucking child. And if you don't like it, and this is the thing where I say if they get away with it, they're gonna do it again because this is the exact same bullshit that they were doing back in the 90s. You had 3 Republican leaders like this Comer, and they were, regardless of what it was, at the heart of it. What was going on is you had them making a big deal because he cheated on his wife. You had three Republican leaders in the leadership of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. They were trying to get Bill Clinton to quit or get him impeached because he cheated on his wife. He had a little something on the side, right? And this is what gets me about that game, Evan. They were making a big fucking deal. And I think this part's legitimate. You had he was flirting around with somebody. He wasn't even fucking him. It was all online, and these people were just making a big deal. And it sounds like it was consensual. And it looks like it might be breaking. It looked like things might be breaking in his direction. So that's kind of cool. And what was big thing was those 3 guys that were kind of pushing it from behind the scenes, they had mistresses. They were fucking around on their wives. So yeah, and I kind of put it out on threads that, what they need is somebody who's got money, which isn't me. They need to hire like 100 cosplayers to follow that douchebag around. And just bug him like, hey, you loaned money to your brother like Biden did. Why, if he should be impeached, how come they shouldn't be kicking you the fuck out? How come your state? How come they shouldn't they be kicking you out if this is something impeachable for Biden? Shouldn't they be kicking you out? Because that was the thing that they did back then. You had these 3 guys that were, they were going to make a big deal out of the fact that he was cheating on his wife. He was fucking around. He stuck his dick in a Jew on Easter in the Oval Office. God damn it, we got to get rid of that piece of shit. And they were doing the same fucking thing. And, this is how far the Republican Party has fallen. Really all of them have a little bit, I guess. But this is how far the Republican, because back then those guys had to resign. Newt Gingrich was one of them. Livingston was another one. I can't remember what the other third douchebag's name was. and they, they did. They had to leave. They had to go. No, nope, it's okay. He can sit there. He's upset. Hopefully, it'll cost him his job later. I doubt it. I don't think his voters are that fucking smart. But hopefully, they'll get tired. I don't like hypocrites. I really try not to be one. I don't like them. And but this is the shit that's going on. The other thing that happened, there was a senator. The guy was an MMA fighter. I'm gonna call him a failed one because if he was really, he was in a minor league. If he was really fucking successful, he'd still be there. Well, he's big, dumb, and full of somebody's cum in his ass or something, and he was fucking just going off on a union leader. I think the Teamsters. I think it's an Irish guy from the Teamsters. Maybe not a good idea to piss those guys off without a damn good reason. And what was funny is after he did this, somebody was putting up pictures of him on January 6th, fucking hiding, scared, fucking shitless. And they go, yeah, he's a fucking tough guy, all right. Well, he's been running his mouth about that union leader. And I think he's like a president of his union. He might even be higher up. I don't know. I think he's Teamsters, but I'm not 100% sure. And what happened was this guy, you can't, no matter how fucking sleazy these people are, no matter how fucking criminal what they're doing is, they're protected by the speech and debate clause. And I hate to say it, but unlike some of the other shit that they've done, that actually might be speech and debate. But he's been running his mouth from those fucking committee hearings. And this guy, I guess, sent him an email or did it on Twitter and let him know that he was a little sick of this piece of shit running his fucking mouth about him. And that, if he actually had the balls for it, they could meet up, somewhere out in public and settle this without running our, basically like the keyboard war. He called him out on it. Well, this guy read the fucking email and he goes, well, we're right here. Would you like, then the guy goes, I would love to fucking settle this here. He goes, I would absolutely love to settle this here. And, so then the guy goes, well, then stand your butt up. And the guy goes, you stand your butt up. And there was no fear. There was no fear in this union leader. And I don't think there was any fear of the Republican because he's got an army of cops there to protect his dumbass, and I'm not advocating anybody do this, but if one of those union people showed up outside his house with a fucking gun, I bet you that guy'd be pissing his pants and fucking calling the cops for help. Oh my God, all the shit they gave Nancy Pelosi, I bet you he'd be shitting in his pants, waiting for if the guy even just, if somebody unknown just walked up and started talking to his kids or something. And these guys are fucking pieces of shit. And he stood up, and then I guess this was off camera for me. The union leader stood up, and Bernie Sanders, he had to be the fucking adult in the room, and he goes, you sit down. And then he looked over, his hand was waving at the senator. He goes, you're a United States senator. Start acting like it. He was the dad in the room. And then the other thing was, and I really don't know, the part of it that I saw, they didn't show it. I'm not sure any of it was on camera. But after the budget deal, they passed a fucked up continuing resolution to keep the government open, and one of the Republican representatives. Now this guy here, I can't speak for too much else, but he seems like a solid guy on the UFO thing. He seems like a really solid guy on the UFO thing. I think he's asking for more than they're ever going to get, but he's rock solid. He doesn't want any more bullshit from the military. He's like, you guys have had plenty of money and plenty of time to fucking look at this. Just release the documents. He wants the Kennedy doc, and I kind of agree with him on that, but he wants the Kennedy documents. Get those Kennedy documents so we can see what's going on with those. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense, to have that. And he's been asking for that. And he was talking to NPR, good organization, good news. And according to him, and again, I didn't see it, the reporter in question, she admitted that she was focused on the person she was interviewing, but she did mention that when McCarthy, that's the former speaker, the McCarthy, when he walked by, this guy clearly got bumped into or something. Well, he's saying that McCarthy fucking elbowed him in the kidneys. And now the audio I heard of this, you could hear him. He's like, "What are you, gutless?" He goes, "What do you got?" I mean, he was pissed. And I don't know if I blame him. And when you look at that, and this is the part I wonder about, because you take a look at Matt Gaetz, and he's kind of calmed down now. And since I said this, and I don't know how much reach I got, but I've thrown it up on Threads and I've thrown it up here. I honestly feel that Matt Gaetz, when he got into trouble with those underage girls, I sincerely think that there was somebody that came up to him and said, "Hey," because I can't understand, with all the evidence they had on him, he had one of his co-conspirators getting ready to testify. They had a document trail. I don't understand how he did not. I don't understand how he pulled an Epstein and didn't get charged. And when you look at him now, I honestly think that somebody came up to him, and and it seems like, and to my opinion, it looks like they did this to that governor of Arizona. I think it's Arizona where that Phoenix Lights thing happened. But like, this was a guy as governor that was pushing his weight around trying to find out what had happened, because there was like something like a couple thousand people that saw that thing. This was not like a interracial couple in the 60s driving home. This thing was seen by everybody. They had videotape of it. And he was pushing to find out what happened. And then what happened was all these charges just magically appeared. Stuff that really looks like, to me, from what I remember, it looks like none of it was new. None of it was new. It was all like old stuff. So it was like the A.G. Garland. They didn't really seem to care about it until they needed to shut him the fuck up. And I'm wondering if that's what's going on with Menendez. Senator Menendez. It's like, oh yeah, Governor Fiefdom or what? He's great. UFOs. Oh, boom. Psh, you're going to jail, motherfucker. Look at all this shit we got on you. And then as soon as he backed off, as soon as he did what I think he was told and just sort of swept this under the rug, wow, oh my goodness, we got plea deals, charges are getting dropped. And I'm wondering if that's what happened with Gaetz down in Florida, the representative from Florida. I'm wondering if somebody came up to him and said, "Hey, we can pull some strings and we can get these charges on hold, but we're going to need you to be our bitch in the House." And I wonder if that's why he started doing that shit to shut the government down and all, because the military complex freaked out a little bit when Gillibrand was going to push her amendment. They didn't really like, as soon as she was basically saying, "Well, we got to have a report on this," and then she was talking about opening up an investigation into it. Well, then the Pentagon, we don't need you to open anything. We'll do one for you. Just give us some money. You give us some money, and then what they did a year later, they didn't have a website, they didn't have a phone number, they didn't have an email. They did have a Twitter account, but it hadn't been used other than when it was opened. Not been used. You've got whistleblowers, intelligence, people in the intelligence community that do this stuff, scientists, researchers, and they're saying, yeah, this guy that's running it is a joke. And now they've moved it further up the chain of command in the Pentagon. I think the cat might jump up on me in a minute. They're going to jump up higher in the Pentagon. They're going to take it out of the mid-level people, so put a little more spotlight on it from higher ups. And instead of having colonels and majors run it, I think they're going to have a one or two star general in charge of it now. And that guy's going to be replaced by the end of the year. So that's good news. That's honestly good news. But I honestly think that some of what was going, I honestly can't figure out how that guy did not get charged. I, even Garland not wanting to charge Republicans, stretches the credibility on that one. But I got a feeling that somebody came up and said, "Hey, you agree to be our fucking bitch in the House. Do what we tell you, and we can make this little problem go away. You won't have to get fucked for the next 20 years in federal prison. We can make it." And again, because even his own party was like, "This doesn't make any sense. We gave him everything he wanted. He still wants to shut the government down." Well, I got a feeling that the military-industrial complex, people in the Pentagon, people in the military defense contractor community, they don't want those amendments put in there. And it sounds like, I still don't know. It sounds like it's a question if they'll pass it in the House. But, and then even if they pass it, is it going to be the 9/11 Commission? Is it going to be like that thing that looked into the Kennedy documents where they're going to look at it and give us nothing good? And then the other thing is that Ross Coulter, he said from what he's hearing, there is talk now about, I think they said granting immunity, but I'm not 100% sure. And they also talked about taking out the language on eminent domain because some of these companies are complaining that they spent money. That's their argument. They got their lobbyists in there working on this, but they spent money to recover this stuff. But how much of that money was ill-gotten gains from the unfair trade practices that have been going on since Roswell? And I really wonder if the bullshit going on with the Republican Party right now has expanded. And you've got Matt Gaetz, you got Captain MMA dipshit, you got Comer, and I think he might be, I don't think he's smart enough. I think he might be a useful idiot. But you got these guys fucking things up and doing, I wonder if it's all a distraction to keep us from noticing that they are or they're not going to pass those amendments. And again, I am going to be honest with you. I don't know what, if anything, we're going to find out on UFOs. I think it's entirely possible that they pass this and we actually get a deep dive done on this, and an honest deep dive, not a Supreme Court. When one of our guys fucks up and takes a bribe, we're going to wave our finger at him, and then that'll take care of it. No. If we get like an honest to goodness look at it, I am almost positive we are going to find billions of dollars, maybe even into the trillions over the last 70 years. We're probably going to find billions, if not trillions, of money that has been diverted from, illegally diverted from proper use, has not been reported to Congress or the White House in some cases, and there's a whole bunch of people dead or alive that should probably be headed for jail. And, I think this is all a distraction so they can cover some ass. And there's going to be, and I don't know, there might be some in the Democratic side too, I don't know. But the way the Republicans wanted to cover big business during COVID, I don't know if they're the ones and there's some good people in there, but if push comes to shove and they had to choose between doing the right thing or covering big corporations' ass, especially military defense contractors, there's a lot of those southern states. That's the bedrock for them. So I don't know if we need a purge of the Republicans so we can get something done. I don't even know if I trust the Democrats on it, but I do worry that there is something funny going on here, and we may get fucked on this deal. That's my sincere belief on it. And Yeah, I don't know. I just worry about it a little bit. I really do. Uh, that's pretty much all I got for you today. I watched I watched one today. Whatever season it is, the one that's right before the. It's one or two before they start talking about the Pleiades cluster, and man, I have just gotten shitty choices for these. I haven't gotten any good ones yet. But yeah, that just. I will say this though, when that dipshit from Oklahoma or whatever it is, Captain MMA, uh, I think he should really thank Bernie Sanders. He should probably put Bernie Sanders pretty high up on his Christmas card list because I think Bernie Sanders saved him from a major fucking ass beating when that happened. I firmly do. And the other thing is, I think the union guy should probably put Bernie on his Christmas card list because I think Bernie might have saved him from murder charges. I really do. Um, that big dumb guy. That big dumb guy. I don't think he realized that wasn't going to be in an MMA fight. It wasn't. That Irish union president probably had a roll of quarters in his pocket and was just gonna knock the living fuck out of him if it would have come to that. Um, I really think he would have fucked him up, and I don't know. I just don't know. But I think he should have. I think both of them should put Sanders on their Christmas card list. And the other thing is, I haven't checked. I haven't seen the guy respond to me yet, but he's actually on Threads. He's got him or his staff have an account for him on Threads, and I shared one where I basically said that he should really put Sanders on, and I tagged him into it. He should really put Sanders on his Christmas card list because I think Sanders saved him from a major fucking beating when that happened. And then the other thing I tagged all the Democrats. Like they're like Twitter. They got a thing where it's House Democrats and Senate Democrats, and it's supposed to tag all or most of them in there. And I tagged them in, and again I tagged him, and I mentioned his account, tagged it in, and I go, hey, can we finally have a talk about making MMA illegal? Because I go, and I tagged in an actual article from Scientific Digest or whatever, and I've heard this before. That's why I knew to look for it. If you go over to Japan in an MMA, when you weigh in. I think it's either the day be it's either a day or two before the fight or it's like really early on the fight. You make weight. That's where you don't do it the day of. You do it like a day or two ahead of time. Well, then the day of the day of the fight, you have to weigh in again, and your weight cannot be more than 10 pounds different. So the shit that they do in America, where they fucking starve and dehydrate themselves the day of the fight, weigh in like 30, 40 pounds lighter, and then fucking fill up with food and fluids to energize and everything else, that wouldn't be allowed. If you're gonna go over there, you pretty much have to fight pretty close to where you're gonna be at. You can't do this shit where you dehydrate 30, 40 pounds and then try to fill up. Well, what they know is if you're a wrestler, that's okay because it's not a combat sport. You're just rolling around with a guy. But if you're doing anything where you're getting hit in the head and you starve that much weight, what happens is you drain liquids from all parts of your body, but the liquids in your brain don't replenish as fast. They don't. So you are missing a natural defense for the brain to avoid concussions. And I think that senator from Oklahoma, and I put this in there, I go, I think he's a glowing example of the brain damage that is caused by MMA. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be on the senator's fucking Christmas card list. But I'm being completely honest. It's like the guy's a fucking moron. And I would say that it's largely probably because of him cutting weight and then taking a shot to the head over and over and over again. Uh, I got a feeling his strategy for MMA was to get out there. I'm not moving my head. Nope, 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 not moving my head. I can take it. And then we end up with him in the fucking Senate like this. Hang on, I gotta check the... I fed them early for lunch because I needed to get something done, and I wanted to get home. I wasn't gonna eat lunch until I got back, and I wanted to get it done. Okay, she's not. If she was still in here, I was gonna get up and go feed her. I don't see her in here. She was just in here talking to me. But yeah, that's the thing that I got. I'm a little concerned about right now. I firmly think that guy's a moron. I think he's showing some of the downsides to MMA. Another one, and I'm not gonna mention names because I still like her. I'm gonna be a fan of her. She ruined her career. She had a really good acting career going. She had been a fighter. She started out in Muay Thai, then got into MMA, and I think and I'm gonna be fair. I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm completely objective, but her career ended when she fought this Brazilian steroid monster, and if that, because that girl, when she had to get off the dope, off the steroids. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna have to make a fucking longer runway for this shit. Jesus Christ. This is a glitch they need. Hey, Mojang, you need to fix it. Look at this fucking shit. You gotta raise the fucking IQ of the golems. I'm sorry. This is right after the last update they fucked this up. And but yeah, I don't know. I literally don't know, but oh shit. Okay. But she said some real stupid shit. And again, I'm not going to get into it too much because I really don't want to out her. But she said some stupid shit. And I think it involved like Nazis and politics. And like comparing people to Nazis to some extent has always been kind of like a third rail in politics. And if you don't know what that is, like they'll refer to something like, oh well, Social Security and Medicare are the third rail of politics. Nobody wants to touch them because they really don't. Because if they start talking about Medicare and Social Security, well, if they say the wrong thing, then senior citizens are not going to vote for them anymore. And if they say the wrong thing, conservatives might not vote for them again. If they say the wrong, I mean, there's more likelihood that you're going to say something off and become unelectable. It's just a natural thing. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I am saying it is kind of the way it is. And a lot of people leave it alone. And what she did was kind of the third rail of being an entertainer. and she said some stupid shit. It's things that, she said stuff that, like, if really, and right now she would not be in this group, I don't think. But the same thing is happening with mostly people on the far left, I think. They're talking about stuff they don't understand when they're talking about Hamas and Israel and that, and they're talking about this stuff. They don't really understand what they're talking about, and I don't think they're purposely supporting terrorism, but they're actually supporting terrorism. And the best thing I could say is, I don't know how, I can't think about how old this movie is. It might be one that some of you have actually seen, but they made a movie based on the actual life attempt to kill Hitler. I think it was the biggest, and I think it was the most successful. It didn't work, but I think it was the most successful attempt to kill Hitler that existed until he, faked his own death and fled Germany. It was called Operation Valkyrie, and Tom Cruise plays the main character in the story. And I didn't think about this. Family member, when we were eating the one day, was watching Last Week Tonight, and they were watching that, and the guy that hosts the show, he was going into it in depth for a comedy show. I would say he did a better job than a lot of news groups, and he's not a news station. It's kind of like that. Jon Stewart was. This was when he was the host of the Daily Show. He went on. He went on. He went on a show on CNN, and I can't remember the name of the show, but it had Tucker Carlson, who was a Republican. It might have been Crossfire or something like that. They were trying to be the next big thing or whatever, and I'm pretty sure he's the reason that show got shut down. I am reasonably sure he's the reason that show got shut down. And he went on there, and he asked him, he goes, could you guys quit hurting America? And he talked about the stuff. Well, they wanted him to come on and fucking, jump and whistle and make everybody laugh. And they said, they go, man, we were hoping you'd come on and be funny. And he goes, no, I'm not going to be your little puppet. He goes, I came on here to talk to you about a very specific thing. We've got real problems in this country, and all you guys are doing is gaslighting them and making them worse. And they were talking, well, we don't see you doing anything about it. And he said, look, you guys are CNN. He goes, I'm a comedy show. He goes, the show that leads, it's either the show that was right before him or right after him. And that's what he said. He goes, it's either the show that leads us in or the show we lead into is sock puppets making dick jokes. He goes, there's got to be a different standard for you guys than me, because I'm not news. And at a certain point in this, John Oliver said, I'm not a news program, but I think he did a pretty good job. So did Jon Stewart. But he was talking about, he was trying to cover both sides. He was trying to go down the middle, and I don't think he did, but I think he did way better than a lot of other people are doing. And it sort of clicked. Well, he was talking about it, that this is what happened in Valkyrie. There was a scene in it, is when they were trying to get Tom Cruise's character. Come on up, Patches. They were trying to get Tom Cruise's character on board with Operation Valkyrie. And there was somebody in there that was a lot like these people on the far left bitching about Israel. And he sat there, and and he was talking, and it clicked. I'm like, oh my God, all these people that are attacking Israel and supporting Hamas, the terrorists. Let's be honest, they're the fucking terrorists. They're like that politician that, Tom Cruise's character, I can't remember what the character's name was, but it's a real life person that was brought in. He was a wounded German soldier. He had, I think he had a fake hand, and he definitely had a fake eye. And he, because Hitler's like Trump. He didn't want to see wounded soldiers, so they had to make him up like he wasn't wounded, or Hitler would have never let him around him. Kind of like Trump. And what happened was he basically told everybody, he goes, look, if you want me to run this, he goes, I'm fine, but he goes, he's out. And he pointed at this politician, and the guy's like, you can't do that. And he goes, I'm insisting. He goes, I will not be a part of this if you or anybody like you is involved in it. And so they smuggled him out of the country, and they wanted to know why. And he said, well, he goes, okay, we're going to get rid of Hitler, and because he didn't want him killed, and there were all these stipulations he wanted to put on it. And he goes, well, okay, we get rid of Hitler, then what? And the guy goes, well, then it's over. And he didn't understand. He didn't understand that Goring and Goering and all these other guys, the SS, the central command around Hitler, they weren't going to just give up. And we're seeing this now with Trump. It's like I don't think fucking Garland has thought this through, but like even if we put Trump in jail, he needs to get off his ass. And there's like 100 members in Congress that need to go to jail. There's probably several hundred members in the courts, law enforcement, the military. I mean, when are we going to get a court martial of General Flynn? These are all people that have to go to jail. This isn't over. I mean, granted, now maybe if they put Trump in for enough of a time, their support will be gone, and maybe people will learn. But there are still terrorists in office. There are still terrorists running that party. And this is the thing that this guy didn't get. And these people on the far left that are out there fucking crying for Hamas and the Palestinians and that, the thing they don't understand is they're like that politician that Tom Cruise's character had to fucking shut down. Like, if you want me involved in it, he's gone. Anybody like him is gone. And this is what we need to do now. These people can't be taken seriously. And like that one, and again, this is personal to her. This is not trying to help out rich people. This is personal for her. I think her family is still over there. But when these people are like, well, we'll remember in 2024, and I'm sorry, somebody in Congress that's a friend of hers that she respects has to sit her the fuck down and let her know, hey, if you want people to fucking buy into your delusions, if you want people to fucking lie to you and tell you what you want to hear, you're in the wrong fucking party. They need to let her know, if you don't want to grow up and be objective, then you need to stand back. Somebody like her would never be allowed on a jury if anything around this came to trial. Just wouldn't. And they need to let these people know, hey, don't threaten us. Don't fucking threaten us. If you want a party that's going to lie to you to get your vote, that's the fucking Republican Party. That's the MAGA Party. Put on your little Make America Fucking Hate Again hat and switch parties. Or grow the fuck up. Them are your two choices. And I like that lady. I really do. But my God, she was acting like a fucking 3-year-old over this. I'm sorry. She just was. But these people that are doing this, they've declared, oh, well, we need a two-state solution. And they expect a parade of fucking unicorns to walk down the street and make it happen. If we're going to have a two-state solution, if you're going to see peace in the Middle East, America and Israel and maybe even our European allies are going to have to do some pretty fucking horrible shit. Because people in the Arab countries have failed to fucking learn. Israel, I want to say that election of Hamas was in 2006. I might be wrong, but I think that's when they elected Hamas. Israel has stayed the fuck out of Gaza. They let the Palestinians and they let Hamas run things. Their troops weren't in there. They weren't providing security. And so you're talking in almost 20 years. Almost 20 years. Hamas and the Palestinians have built a network of terror tunnels underneath hospitals, underneath public areas to use humans, Palestinian humans, as shields. They didn't build schools. They didn't build an economy. I mean, honestly, Hamas and the Palestinians are kind of like conservatives and the Republican Party and the MAGA Party, or conservatives and the MAGA Party. Okay, or the Freedom Caucus, or to teabaggers. The only difference is you don't have Democrats to bail them the fuck out. These are people over there that have fucked up their economies, and there are no blue states to pay for it. Like what Hamas is going on, you would see in Texas if they ever fled the Union. The only thing is, I think the drug cartels in Mexico, the day they left the United States, I think the next day the drug cartels would take Texas over and turn it into the biggest fucking meth lab this side of the fucking this side of the planet here, and but they don't have Democratic states to bail them out. Israel is not giving them money like the Democrats give the Republicans. Not happening. So they're falling to shit. So then they attack. And I don't think these people get it. This is just not going to happen nicely. You know, you guys don't seem to understand how the world works. You can't just fucking tweet that you demand, they get on there and they tweet or they thread that we deserve a two-state solution. They don't understand. There's a lot, and that Palestinian lady in the House of Representatives, her, like the Freedom Caucus, these people on the far left, they're like that on a lot of issues. They just declare something on Twitter, and then they expect it to magically happen. They need to learn. They need to learn from the old activists in the 50s and the 60s. That you might move an inch in 10 years. And you got to go another 10 years to get 2 inches. Then you might have to wait 20 years, the 10 years in the second half of that, to get another inch. There's nothing magic about Twitter where you, especially since Elon Musk took it over, but there's nothing magic about where you just declare something and it's going to happen. It just doesn't. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, but that's the biggest thing on this is I look at this dumpster fire that's going on in the Republican Party, and I'm really starting to think we might get fucked on this disclosure, and I think they might be doing it on purpose to fuck us on that. They just turn the government into a dysfunction, and I want you to give some thought to that. We might have to have good, and can't just have Democrats, but we got to have good Democrats in there so we can actually get something done about this. Peace out, and I hope everybody has a good day.